Hey, sixth grade, welcome back. Happy Monday. I know that I saw you not too long ago on Friday, but we're getting back on our regular schedule, so welcome back. Let's get right to it. I thought for our reminders, I might make a habit of highlighting one aspect of our future ready end goal for our students. Okay, remember the B in Beaver stands for builders and leaders. Real simply, we're hoping for students that are okay being out front. They're not always waiting to follow the crowd. Okay, if they have a movement or something that they believe in, they're going to be okay to lead that effort. Okay, and builders, I also think of just people who want to build up the world around them, build up people's happiness, not take them out or make them feel bad about themselves. Okay, so that's what we want for our future ready students, builders, leaders. All right, let's talk also about some of our COVID related stuff. Okay, you guys know that we're kind of hovering right now, right in the yellow zone. Okay, if cases increase over the next couple weeks, we may have to, I'm just going to level with you, all of us go back to distance learning at home if we get in the red area. None of us want that. Maybe you do, okay, but it really isn't ideal. Okay, it won't just be video games. You'll be graded. You'll be doing assignments from home. We'd rather just keep you here. So we've talked about masks staying on, okay, especially in the hallways, just really everywhere while we're in yellow. Unless you're way by yourself or eating, you should have those things on. We're spacing out in the hallways, yes. But something else to remember: if you don't feel well, let's err on the side of caution. Excuse me. If you don't know what that means if you have a little cold, which I do right now, I'm not going to lie, you may want to stay home, okay? Mine is living in my nose. There's nothing in my lungs, shortness of breath or fever, but I'm filming this on Saturday, and if I don't feel any better Monday morning, I'm going to stay home. In years past, I would have fought through this and came to school because I don't like to miss work or miss school, but this is something that, to stay home, you can still get work done on Zoom. I can still get some work done at home if I don't feel any better, but just a general reminder, all right? So if years past, if you were thinking perfect attendance, I got to get there, don't worry about it. Get yourself healthy, make sure you're not spreading anything, and hopefully a day of rest, and if you don't have any symptoms, you can come back, all right? Reminders, also, elections are starting soon. So hopefully if you're running, you got a petition, a class petition from Mrs. Bammert. Those went out last week. You have until the end of the day tomorrow to turn those in. If you haven't started yet, get out there and run for one of those 5 offices, all right? Don't worry about, oh, I heard so-and-so's running. If you think you're a true leader for this 6th grade group, run for an office. And then we have timelines in terms of when they're due, posters being hung, and then we'll get to our speeches and voting actually a week from today. So that's pretty cool, all right? Last week's lesson, we learned that habits are those things that we do all the time. I don't actually remember why there's a picture of a duck there from when I made this, but I don't know. Hey, they're very important. I think it's that repeating part. You keep doing them over and over again. Your habits certainly are important, and they can have an impact on your success, certainly a huge impact. But I also want you to know that you're stronger than your habits, like that buff baby. You can change them if you need to, all right? So before we get into the 7 habits lessons, I want you to say a word with me if you haven't heard it before. Paradigms. I know I'm not actually with you, but say it with me, class. Paradigms, all right? Definition, shall we? How we perceive, fancy way of saying see, the world, ourselves, and others, all right? Whenever you hear paradigms, I want you to think of a pair of glasses, and we'll get to why that is in just a second, okay? More details about paradigms and why they're important, another pair of glasses. A lot of people, if they don't like where they're at in their life, they think, I'm going to change these big things. I'm going to change my behavior. I'm going to drop this habit cold. I'm never going to do that again, which is important, and I think that's an okay way to think about it. But to me, you have to change your paradigms first. Your thoughts and actions and all these other steps that can change what's going on there has to start with paradigms, all right? So just know that sometimes people do have faulty paradigms. I don't know if I'll read the quotes from you, but you see some pictures up there. And here's some people who thought they were pretty smart and thought that, the way that my glasses are accurate. This is a fact. Well, sometimes paradigms are faulty, all right? This person said in 1962, we don't like their sound. Groups of guitars are on the way out. Dude said that about a little band called the Beatles, which, no matter what anybody tells you, is the best band of all time, all right? Somebody else said, this telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication. The device is inherently of no value to us. things turned out all right for the telephone. What else? Man will never, ever reach the moon, regardless of all future scientific advances. That was said in 1967, which is just 2 years, 1 year before we landed on the moon. And then we also have Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. You see, that's an early cell phone from the 80s, which you guys maybe have never seen one. We all have fancier ones now. But this is my own paradigm. I remember when I was a senior in high school, a dude came to my small town with a cell phone at school, and I thought, what is the point of those, right? Who's ever going to want these stupid phones to have in their pocket? My paradigm, my idea, was a little wrong, obviously, okay? And people have different paradigms. Certain things can happen in the world, certain events, and you say, well, there's this fact. Everyone saw it the same way. We don't see things the same way. You've probably seen some of these things before, so we do have paradigms that change from person to person. So you can look at this picture and you can see a bunny or you can see a duck, and you can kind of squint and see the other one sometimes, all right? So paradigms are a little shifty that way. You might look at this one and see a younger woman, or when you look at the girl doing this, an older woman, all right? Some of you guys that were on Facebook, like I guess this is probably like an 8-year ago reference, really argued about what color that dress is. To me, it looks pretty clear that it's blue and gold, but people had different ideas. So again, paradigms can change from person to person. Okay, this is clearly a book. I don't know what else you would think it was, but it's clearly a book, all right? So paradigms can be a little faulty. Remember that pair of glasses I talked about? People are walking around with the wrong prescriptions. So the way that they see things out in the world are just faulty. Okay, and that's not saying that they're unintelligent. Sometimes we form our paradigms based on what people have told us, what we assume about them. Okay, it's not that they want to be wrong or they're trying to be mean. They've just got some misinformation, and the way that they perceive things is a little blurry. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of turning and talking with a partner close by, out there in your digital homerooms, as we're talking to the screen here. And homeroom teachers, if you want, feel free to pause for a little bit on the video, give them time, and then we'll move on. We're going to talk about 3 different important sets of glasses or paradigms. Because remember, you kind of have this is how I perceive this is my perception of this. You have different pairs of glasses depending on really who you're looking at or what you're looking at. All right? Let's talk about perception of self first. And when you're turning top questions, I want you to think of one positive self paradigm that you have, which in a fancy way, that's just saying something that you like about yourself. All right, so turn and tell a partner, over this shoulder, whatever, behind you. This is one thing I like about myself. The other one is one of your negative self paradigms. Okay? Is there something that you're not super fond of about yourself, whether it's an appearance thing or a personality thing, okay? So teachers, pause for a second if you want, because I'm going to go pretty quick. And I just wonder, as we move on, maybe you paused, maybe you didn't, if it was easier or harder to come up with the positive thing. Okay, if you struggle to come up with a positive thing, but you got like, I got 10 negative things, I worry for you, okay? We have to have good positive paradigms about ourselves. What about your teachers, the people that you hang out with at school? Tell partner, why do you think that teachers became teachers? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you get along with your teachers in a general sense, like all of them, okay? So this is a good point to pause if you'd like. Homeroom teachers, you don't have to. Okay, and moving on. I don't know why I asked that question about why they became teachers, but I think that kids get a little off on why we stand up here and try to help them, okay, as teachers. Generally because we like kids and we think education is important and we believe in the kids' potential to do awesome things. We want to help them do that. Sometimes people think, they're just out to get me. They don't like, not teachers I know, not teachers in this school. And if you have any number below 5 and saying, this teacher, you might want to think of your own approach to that, okay? I'm just wondering about your paradigms to teachers. And then how about parents? It's our last little turn and talk. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you go along with parents or guardians or whoever's in charge at home, okay? And from there, why do your parents tell you what to do? Why? They're always doing that. So those are your questions. Scale of 1 to 10, how's the relationship with the parents? And why are they always lecturing you, telling you what to do? Teachers, you can pause right now if you want. This is me paused. Moving on, okay? If that number is lower than 5 again, we're going to have to work on that when we get to the relationship bank account. Those are important relationships. And honestly, because they care, that's why they do that. Not because they want your life to be miserable. So if you have the paradigm of my teachers or my parents just don't want me to have fun, they want you to have fun, but they want you to be safe doing it, okay? From there, I'm going to talk about paradigm shifts. So remember how those glasses can be blurry? Just know that sometimes you can change those glasses out, and it's a big kind of aha moment, and you need these sometimes. Okay, paradigm shifts are important because when you get this idea stuck in your head, sometimes you have to take those glasses and break them almost, all right? So the first story is a brief one. It's from Stephen Covey, who was Sean Covey's dad, who really came up with the 7 habits before Sean adapted them for teens. I'll try to tell the story quick because this video is getting long. First off, he was in an airport, I believe. Yes, an airport, getting the story back in the old brain. And he looked over, and if you've been in the airport before, sometimes there's waiting, right? Lots of waiting involved. And he kept hearing a couple kids just crying. One was a small baby. The other one was about a 2-year-old. Sounds a little bit like my life right now, okay? And the 2-year-old was just all over the place screaming. The baby was crying, and it appeared as though the mom was not doing anything. Okay? She was kind of holding the baby, but not really. The 2-year-old was just everywhere, and I think there might have been an older kid, and it was just kind of chaos. Sean Covey seemed like a nice guy, or Stephen Covey, excuse me. He didn't say anything forever, but after about 40 minutes of this, he went over there, and I think he said something mildly rude, not that rude, saying, "Can I help you with your kids or something?" Okay, they're pretty loud, and can I help? And the lady just burst into tears because she said that she had recently had surgery. She could hold the baby, but she wasn't supposed to pick up the 2-year-old. She was by herself. And Stephen Covey's paradigm of this is a bad mother, she's inconsiderate, she's driving me crazy, instantly shifted to this is somebody who needs help. Okay, so that was one faulty, blurry paradigm. This person is a bad parent to one that was more correct. All right? The next story is an important one in the Schaefer saga. And I probably should tell it fast, but it needs a lot of time for sure, so I'll try to get through it. I joke about this story a lot, but it was actually a huge moment in my life, okay, a huge paradigm shift. So it's called Tybo and Joe the Stoner. I don't know what chapter of this future fake book I'll write about my life someday, but it takes place in this tiny little town, Vale, Oregon. That's my hometown, okay? And my senior year, I wanted to be in advanced PE because they got to go do like archery and go swimming and do all this fun stuff. So all my buddies that wanted to take it got put in one class period, and I got put in another where there was only like 4 people. And instead of going to do all the archery and stuff, our teacher said, there's too few of you. Just one day a week, you'll work on homework. The next day, you'll work on Tybo, which was this cool, old school, like workout thing, like kicking and stuff. And then you go back to homework. So I was pretty bummed about the class. I didn't know anybody in the class. But this guy, Joe, and I'm not for labeling people. That's just how everybody at school called him. Okay, that's just what they said. That's all I knew him as. So we started hanging out a little bit. Liked the guy. He was funny. We had a lot of time together because that teacher, we weren't really doing anything. And we just kind of became friends. And probably, I don't know, a month into that class, he said, you know, I don't know what he said. He probably didn't say Mr. Schaefer, but he was talking to me. He said, I'm really surprised. I'm like, wow. He goes, I'm surprised that we get along. And I said, well, why are you surprised that we get along? And he goes, just because everyone kind of thinks you're a jerk. That's what he said to me. It's my senior year of high school. I thought I was pretty cool, Mr. Popular jock person. I had a choice there. I could have stuck with my faulty paradigm, but really I took off my glasses for a second and looked at my own behavior, which was built on being a little bit of the stereotypical arrogant jock who was mean to people, especially if I didn't think they were cool or on a sports team. So this random comment by a dude really changed my life because my senior year, this was early in my senior year, I changed things. I was nicer to everybody. And I feel like that put me, honestly, on a different path in life. I realized I wasn't cool and that wasn't the most important thing, and there was much more important stuff. So Joe the Stoner changed my life, and I had a paradigm shift. All right, so let's wrap things up here with this video. Just remember, a paradigm shift about school, about your ability to do math, about your appearance, whatever it is, can lead to a new attitude, which is definitely what I got, and then new behavior, which make me a kinder, better person. All right? So be careful with those paradigms. They may be a little blurry. Our quote to end on and think on today from Sean Covey, like I said, paradigms are like glasses. When you have incomplete paradigms about yourself or life in general, it's like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription. That lens affects how you see everything else. Let's say that one more time. That lens affects how you see everything, affects all your behavior. So analyze those pairs of glasses, those paradigms. Are you looking at somebody in a blurry, faulty way? Are you looking at school or your parents in a blurry or faulty way? Maybe you are. You can take those glasses off and have a paradigm shift, hopefully. Thanks for listening. Maybe I'll see you on Monday if I feel better. If not, have a great day and week. Later.